This is the legend of PikVille Heavy Industries, the ongoing record of a company that refuses to stay in one timeline. I'm Pickfire, and Cuppertine's brought me another stack of files I don't remember creating. The desert's humming again, the archives are shifting, and PHI is ready to show us something new. Let's get into it. Previously in Episode 11, we jumped back to the early 80s and found ourselves once again inside the warehouse, where Marcus and his infamous pirate song turned out to be coded message aimed directly at me. We walked through the two Tempe friend groups of my youth, both orbiting that same corner of Forest and University, and watched the first spark of "You Must Build It" take hold. Then time drifted forward to the rise of the Vegas boys, the unsuspecting future Legends Football League owners, whose beer-soaked weekends, softball bruises, and total lack of awareness quietly fed the early algorithm that would one day ignite the unclear reactor. Episode 11 was a chain of memories popping into my head like softballs off my forehead, one lesson at a time. Episode 12, FAQs. I try really hard to keep the storyline somewhat straight. I've never claimed much success, but maybe this week I can get it back on track. It's hard to ignore the buzz on the internet, but I'm going to go ahead and try to answer some questions I imagine a listener might have. Question 1. Why don't you show pictures of all these supposed business ventures? Well, I can only tell you so much. For one thing, almost none of them exist on our plane of existence at the present time. The PHI ventures that do exist here either don't have much of a physical presence, don't want their location disclosed, or are just messy and don't like having their picture taken. Question 2. Why don't you show us what things look like in the rest of the multiverse? Believe me, I've tried. I have really tried. Several times, in fact, to bring video evidence to y'all. But to no avail. Every time I try to post visuals of any sort, they almost always fail to load. If a file does load, it's usually just blackness or distortion. And on the extremely rare occasion an image does appear, it's always the same thing. The naked pictures my first two roommates would take of themselves if he were foolish enough to leave a camera lying around unattended. Not helpful, not multiversal, just unfortunate. So apparently the multiverse doesn't allow it. Even I've only been granted the tiniest amount of access to anything I can actually lay my eyes on. But what I did see was mind-blowing. Question 3. If we can't see things from a different time or place, then how did we get to hear the radio and TV spots for Tempe Dead Language Translation Services and all those other things on this channel or podcast? Well, where to start? If you look at our YouTube channel, you'll find me doing some video work where I prove conclusively that any idiot can produce a YouTube video. Then there's a gap, because I didn't have as much to say as I thought. When the audio-only stuff started appearing on my channel, and out there in Podland, I did what the rest of the world did. I ignored it, completely. It wasn't until XO Dale Cuppertine literally twisted my wrist and forced me to pay attention that I even recognized my own voice. Once my wrist stopped hurting, he began to loosen his grip on the information we've all been looking forward to as well. This is when he allowed me to hear things in order at least, like the TDLTS reads, with a little more explanation around them instead of just that wry smile of his. He would on subsequent trips fill me in on some of the other things that had slipped in, like not one but 2 spots for nickel and dime contractors at large. I didn't even see those, and that's a venture that does exist on this plane. But it was the whole Salt River Royal Grand Luxury Cruise Lines International thing that really blew me away. and I know it is going to melt your minds. But alas, I fear that will have to wait for a future episode. Stay heavy, man.